Hello, I'm Chris, and this is my TJ Wrangler console with subwoofer upgrade video. So this is a 2004 and has a center console, and there's a subwoofer in there. And you need as much space on a Jeep, so building a little box for back here is completely out of the question. Then the driver's side center console, you can see the subwoofer. So I don't know if that's a factory subwoofer, but on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 1. It sounds horrible. This has already been out of the Jeep and it is completely screwed up. Let's check this out. So I'm assuming this is not a factory subwoofer. Let's just get this out of here. So it has a little factory amp in there. So the sub did not fit in all the way, so he just screwed it on this side and left it poking out right there with that hole. So there is a possibility that this subwoofer might be good. So I was thinking about it and realized that the 8-inch subwoofer would be a way better idea. We are going to try to use the factory amp. We're going to make a custom box because we can't use this, and it's really too small for the 8-inch subwoofer anyway. So this is a 04 Rubicon, and it has a factory amp right here. We are going to be using this, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion on what it sounds like with the factory amp. But if it doesn't pass a test, we're going to have to do a 300 watt amp. The good thing about this box is it's covered up by the console, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So if you're going to be doing one of these consoles, you're going to have to modify this tray right here. I don't know if it comes out or not. This guy already busted it all out. We're going to have to cut the bottom out of this. Now pay attention, it's got one mounting place right there and one down here. We don't need that one. You're going to take this highest mounting place and you're going to have to figure out how to put a straight edge on there, and we're going to cut this 100% straight right here so we can use this for our box. So we're not going to show every little detail in this video, but I'm showing you where I'm going to cut, and we're going to make a little floor for this at the end of the video. So let's take our console, let's flip it upside down. We see that space right there? We're going to create a box that fills this entire space. Now you have the emergency brake handle right here, and after we finish that box, we're going to cut a little slice out of it or figure a way or what we need to cut out of it, and then we're going to mount the little amplifier. So first thing, let's put this back in. So we can clearly see that the sub side is flush against that. And then they have this kind of triangle area cut out right here. So then our subwoofer box, if we look at it, we can see that we have a little mount right here. That's the higher mount. So you see the high one and the low one. That's why we drew a line right here. So we cut this off. So then this can sit on top of our new box that we made, just like that, and there's not going to be any problems. So to start building our box, we got to look for a template to use. If you turn the box like this facing the back, you can see that we have our shape fully fitting in that console. So you're just going to compensate that little corner right here. We can cut a piece out just like this. It's going to drop right in that console and give us a starting point. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm going to be building mine out of 5/8 plywood because I have a whole bunch of these scraps. You study boxes, you build it however you feel like you need to build it. This is just what I'm doing. So square it up and then trace it out. Okay, so remember, we're just compensating for that corner. So now we got a starting point. Go ahead and cut 2 of these out and let's get them in the console. Got the console, I took the lid off so it doesn't get damaged. Then we take one of our piece, take the other piece. Wow, perfect fit. Now, when you get an idea where you want it, we're going to get some tracing paper. Make sure it's in there straight. We're going to mark it. Go ahead and mark. Mark. Now, try to come off here as even as possible. Off the bottom. So now we got a template, cut 2 of these. So now we got something to start with. Let's screw these together. Now we got us a nice rough box. Let's get it in that console. All right, so the next step is, so now we just trace them out and cut our top and bottom. Okay, so this is a rough box. Anything can be modified. We can make it shorter, do whatever we need to. We're going to go ahead and do all of that, and then we're going to assemble the final box and put a caulking in there and make it all neat. But somewhere here, we're going to have to slice a corner out. Let's just look at it when it's done because I don't know how long this is going to take me to do it. So the final idea was to countersink it right there on that part. Now, if you're watching this video, pay attention to this part. So the thing that wasted my time the most was trying to mount the factory amp in this box. You see all those little triangle pieces down there? And with my aftermarket Pioneer radio, this factory amp right here does nothing for the subwoofer. Okay, so if you're going to put any kind of aftermarket sub in there, Do not even waste your time trying to use the factory amp. It's going to disappoint you. So I'm going to get that out. I'm going to go ahead and clean this box up. So I just went to Walmart and got this amp. It was $59, but I just walked in there and got it. Now I don't know why they put the max power on here. This thing is actually 240 watts RMS whenever you bridge it at 4 ohms. So the speaker's a 200 RMS 400 watt max, dual voice coils, 4 ohms each. So I had to wire it in parallel to get it down to 4 ohms to match this amplifier. So of course this project took way longer than I thought and $59 more than I thought. So you have to ask yourself, did you make an improvement over what was there, and was it worth it? Definitely an improvement to what was there. Was it worth it? If I had to buy that, I think this is $50, $59. I mean, 150 bucks. Was it worth it? Kind of. With no other options available in the Jeep, we are not going to sacrifice any space that we have. We're not going to take the back seats out. So as our only option, yes, it was worth it. $150 to have a subwoofer that is better than stock, and we can always upgrade it or play around with it, maybe get a better amp. Let's go ahead and test this thing out, see what it sounds like.
Everything that happens is motivation.
So you can see the console's in there 100%. It is a factory fit just like the old one. It actually had a little line right there that I used to trim that box down to get it to sit on top. This tray thing is sitting on top of the box with a piece of carpet right where it looks perfect. Just so you can see the other side, and the stain where it just wrapped right around there is still there. So that's showing that it is perfectly in place of where the old one used to be. Okay, so then the amp wires ran back here to the auxiliary fuse box. Go check that video out, see how I ran that so we don't have wires going back to the battery cables. Okay, so the RCA jack connected to the radio. All that comes in here and out right here. Now for the amp wire, I was able to cut into the factory amp wire harness. If you look at it, it'll have a blue wire. Get a light tester, find which one comes on with the key if you're doing this. That way you don't have to run a wire all the way back up to the back of the radio. So that's where this comes from. So these are all the wires for the amp. We're going to wire this amp right here under the seat. So then all we're missing is the ground for this amp. We're going to run it to one of these bolts for the seats. Either one, I'm not sure yet. Let's look at it when it's done because it's about to get dark. So finally finished with this project and everything's back in. So the box clears the emergency brake just fine. So then we were able to use a little tray in there. We just cut the floor out, a piece of carpet on top of the box, and then screw down, and it's good to go. Everything is 100% back to normal. The amp is under the seat right there. Okay, so the console is 100% back in its normal original place. So if anybody wants to do this project, ask me and I'll put the links in the description. But that sub is about $50, that amp's about $59. This whole project should run you about $150, and it is 100 times better than I ever imagined. Let's check this thing out. But before we listen to it, anytime you do an audio project like this, you have to check the polarity of all the speakers, because if the polarity is reversed, it can just make it sound like crap, like something's not working. So just look that up anytime you're doing anything audio like this. Just showing you that, go check that out anytime you put a system in, because if it's out of phase, it's going to sound weird and not right. So thank you, audiocheck.net. So we're just listening to copyright free music, Philip Hugh Morris. after getting everything in the Jeep, the project is definitely worth it. It's going to take you about a week to do this and figure it all out, but I'm very happy that I finally did it. That's it for the video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.